Hi, I'm Adam Stevens, Senior Customer Success Director at Upland Adestra. In a lot of SaaS businesses, onboarding has become about getting customers live access to a platform, ticking off a project plan and then moving on. And that's just not how we operate. We treat onboarding as the start of a long-term relationship, not the end of a project. And we take a lot of pride in essentially welcoming customers into the Adestra family. We've got incredibly talented people across customer success, support, professional services, product strategy, deliverability, and we actively encourage customers to build relationships with all of them. So firstly, I often say it's never really about software, but I will caveat that by saying this is only true because at the heart of what we do, and something our GM stands by, is that our software has to be stable, performant, and evolving. But that really is table stakes. So actually where customers consistently tell us they get the most value is in our people. The positive feedback I receive regularly is about us having an abundance of approachable, knowledgeable experts that customers can rely on. People who understand their business, their goals, and are genuinely invested in helping them succeed. And ultimately just making sure we're there when customers need us. I've seen a lot of examples over the years where customer success managers are introduced only once the onboarding is finished. And by that point, a lot of the context is already lost. For example, why they chose the platform, what problems they were trying to solve, and the nuances of the implementation. So at Adestra, we blur the lines between sales, onboarding, and customer success so that they don't feel like they've been passed from team to team. In practice, that means our CSMs are introduced early and they stay with the customer throughout the whole journey. The most common theme we hear from customers who come to us from other platforms is that they felt under-supported. They had access to tools but not enough guidance on how to use them effectively. And there was no one there to help them shape a strategy around those tools. So when issues cropped up, they sometimes lingered because there wasn't a true expert to escalate to who could take full ownership of the problem. What we do differently is we strive to simplify complexity. We take the time to properly understand a customer's environment, their data, their goals, and in reality, how their team actually works day to day. And frankly, it means we can hit the ground running, which is often really important when a customer is undertaking a new migration to prove value and see a return early. So we take the time to really understand what success looks like for that customer, not just what is detailed in a contract. And because our CSMs are highly experienced, they can actually add value, challenge plans, suggest alternative approaches, and bring new ideas to the table, which comes from years of working with customers within a wide array of industries. So overall, our approach to service is really about partnership, and our goal is to help customers achieve the outcomes they set out to achieve when they first chose Adestra. So a prospective customer should know that you're never on your own with us. We don't just give you a platform and walk away. We stay with them, we guide them, we challenge them when it's helpful, and ultimately help them achieve their goals. For me, being a safe pair of hands is really about trust. It's about being reliable in an environment that's constantly changing. And it's about being someone our customers know they can depend on when things feel uncertain. And just to be clear, when I talk about reliability, I'm not really talking about the platform itself. That's a given. Stability, performance, and uptime are simply expected in modern software. And of course, we're proud of that. Our uptime statistics are published, they're live for everyone to see. And frankly, there's not much of a blemish on them, but that's the baseline. What safe pair of hands really means to me is the human side of it. It's knowing that when the landscape changes, new regulations, new mailbox provider requirements, or shift in how email is measured and delivered, our customers don't have to face that alone. That's when it generally feels like a partnership, not just a vendor relationship. So we constantly remind ourselves it's partner, not platform. Day to day, that looks like human-led, high-touch and proactive relationships with our customers. From my vantage point, influencing growth starts with getting the foundations right from day one. That might sound obvious, but it's amazing how often growth is held back by basic issues around setup, data, and more often than not, deliverability. If those foundations aren't right, it's very hard to build anything meaningful on top of them. and even harder to scale. So early on, a big part of our focus is making sure customers can hit the ground running without friction, and implementing those alone can unlock growth.